UiPath is a well-known RPA tool. It has grown in popularity over the years, and it is now used by organizations all over the world. UiPath assists business in successfully automating their business process. If you're planning to attend an interview for an RPA or UiPath developer role, here is a comprehensive list of most frequently asked UiPath interview questions with answers. But before we begin, make sure you have subscribed to our YouTube channel and clicked on the bell icon so you never miss an update from Simplilearn. So without wasting any further time, let's get started. What is UiPath? This question looks simple, but people most of the time end up giving wrong definition. UiPath is a robotic process automation tool for large-scale end-to-end automation. For an accelerated business change, it provides solutions for business to automate routine office activities. It uses a variety of methods to transform tedious tasks into automated process. What are the different components in UiPath? UiPath consists of three components mainly. UiPath Studio. UiPath Studio is a user-friendly interface that allows users to visually plan and design various automation processes through diagrams using the drag and drop functionality. These diagrams are merely a structural reflection of specific tasks that must be completed. UiPath Robot. After you have built your process, the next move is to put into action in the UiPath Studio. UiPath robots are used to translate the strategies into tasks which are then executed. These robots are used to assign various tasks and carry them out in the same manner as humans but without human interference. When given an operation occurs on the computer, they program UiPath robots to begin executing tasks automatically. UiPath Orchestrator. The Orchestrator is a web-based application in UiPath. It has features for deploying, monitoring, scheduling, and controlling automated bots and processes. It's a centralized forum for managing and maintaining all software bots. What are the different workflows in UiPath? Sequences. A sequence is a small type of project that is best suited for linear process. It enables developers to transition from one activity to another easily. They can be reused numerous times. Flowchart. It can be used for large or small projects that help in development of complex business and connecting activities in a variety of ways. Flowcharts assist in the presentation of multiple branches of logical operators. State machine. A state machine is a machine that uses a certain number of states for automation during execution. It will only change states if an action is performed on it. Let's look at the next question. What is a UiPath robot? The robot is a UiPath's execution agent, allowing you to run process created in the studio. In order to execute process, robots must be connected to the orchestrator or licensed locally. What are the different components of UiPath robot? Service. The robot service is the primary controller for all operations. It communicates with Studio, the robot agent, and the robot command line interface by an inter-process communication channel to receive and process information. Executor. The robot executor is the component that is directly responsible for process execution. The robot service creates a robot executor instance every time a job is started. Command line interface. The robot command line interface is a console application that starts jobs and waits for their results. UiPath Assistant is a tool designed specifically to improve the user's interaction with our robots from the comfort of their desktop. It is where users can easily access, manage, and run automation with a few clicks. What is the difference between attended and unattended robot? Attended robots are supervised robots that humans operate. They work on the same workstation as a human user and is triggered by user events. Unattended robots. Unattended robots are those that do not require human supervision to perform tasks. They run in virtual environments without human control and can automate any number of processes. What are the features of UiPath? Drag and drop workflow. The UiPath user will develop visual process steps by dragging and dropping related tasks onto the graphical workspace. Then with the user interface properties, they can transform these process steps into a visual workflow. Users may also use the recorder wizard in the UiPath tool to build web-based or application workflow. Record and playback. The user can use this function to record actions and transform them into an automated process series. Inbuilt activities in UiPath. UiPath comes with over 300 built-in activities covering a wide range of process automation and application integrated design tasks. You can find these activities in Activities pane, which covers most design tasks such as data extraction, data entry, and automation. Advanced scraping options. Scraping data from web pages and applications is more accessible with UiPath screen scraping. Furthermore, the data scraping wizard helps in the scraping of data with a repetitive structure. Scraping solution works flawlessly with any program including .NET, Java, Flash, PDF, Legacy, and SAP. High security and robustness. You can create super smart durable robots with UiPath. Visual Canvas, everyone in the company can use these bots. UiPath offers high security auto login functionality to run the bots and operates with a locked screen, allowing automated process to run in complete privacy. What are the different recording options in UiPath? Basic recording. It focuses on automating single tasks and is commonly used to develop each activity's complete selector. Desktop recording. It can be used for a variety of actions as well as application development. Web recording. Web recording is a standard tool for viewing and recording web activities. Citrix recording. It is very widely used for recording stuff like pictures and virtualized environment automation. What is a manage package in UiPath? The package manager functionality allows to download activities, packages, libraries, frameworks, wrappers, and others and view and update the ones already installed for the project and add and remove it. It displays the list of available packages per feed and a list of dependencies for the current project. The Manage Package windows always opens with the project dependencies list. How to publish a project in UiPath? To publish a project in UiPath, first create a new project. Then in the Design ribbon tab, click Publish. The Publish window will open. In the Package Properties tab, enter the name for package, then click Next. In the Publish Options tab, select the location where you want to publish your project, and finally, the information dialog box displays. So let's see a demo. How is it done? So let's jump in the UiPath Studio. So here we are in UiPath Studio. Let's open a workflow. I'll drag and drop a simple message box just to show. Enter a message, say, hey. So I have created a simple workflow just to show you how to publish a project in UiPath. So here you can see the publish option. Once you have created the project, go to the ribbon tab and click on the publish. When you click, the publish window opens. Here you can change the package name if you want. You can see the version, new version, package icon, and release notes. So let's click on next. Here you will get the custom URL where you want to publish to. Then click on publish. Here you go. You can see publishing package. So a info dialog box appears. Project published successfully. If you want, you can copy to the clipboard. So this is how the project is published in the UiPath. What is data scraping and screen scraping? Data scraping is the process of extracting structured data from a browser, application, or document and saving it to a database or a .csv file or even an Excel spreadsheet. Screen scraping methods are activities that allow data to be extracted from a specific UI element or document such as a .pdf file. Explain the different types of automation in UiPath. Excel automation. Excel automation is a useful tool for sorting, deleting, retrieving, and analyzing data. It is simple to migrate and integrate data into platforms. Studio X has a strong integration with Microsoft Excel and ships with several activities that automate Excel tasks. Mail automation enables task automation with emails from the Outlook desktop application, Gmail, and Outlook 365. Add the activities that use data from the account inside the resource activity after adding the account to the automation as a resource using a use Outlook 365. Use Gmail or use desktop Outlook app activity. Word automation. In the Word automation, add the Word document to be worked on by using a Word file activity, and then add the Word activities to automate within the use Word file. PowerPoint automation. PowerPoint automation allows the user to automate the most common task in PowerPoint presentation. Add the presentation to work with the Use PowerPoint Presentation activity, and then inside the Use PowerPoint Presentation, add the presentation activities to automate. File automation. It refers to the automation of tasks performed on your computer with files and folders, such as creating, copying, or renaming files and folders. Studio X includes several activities that automate tasks that you perform with files and folders. CSV automation. In CSV automation, add the CSV activities inside the Use Excel file activity, where the Excel file is defined to move data between CSV and Excel. Explain a few read and write activities. Read range. Read range reads the values of an Excel range and stores in a data table variable. Read cell reads the values of an Excel cell and stores in a variable. Read CSV reads all entries from a specified CSV file. Write range writes data from a data table variable to a spreadsheet. Write cell writes a value or formula into a specified spreadsheet cell. Write CSV overwrites a specified data table to a CSV file. What is an Excel application scope? Excel application scope opens an Excel workbook and sets the scope for Excel activities. When this activity is completed, the specified workbook and Excel application are closed. What is an orchestrator? UiPath Orchestrator is a web application that orchestrates the execution of repetitive process. It manages the creation, monitoring, scheduling, and controlling of bots and process. It can manage the entire robot fleet. Name some orchestrator capabilities. Provisioning. Provisioning establishes and maintains the connection between the robots and the web application. Deployment ensures that it delivers the correct package versions to the assigned robots for execution. Configuration looks after the maintenance and delivery of robot environments and process configuration. Queues. Queues ensures that it automatically distributes the workload across robots. Monitoring manages user permissions and keeps track of robot recognition details. Logging. Logs are stored and indexed in an SQL database. Explain process, job, asset, and queue. The process page allows you to build a new process from uploaded packages, managing existing process, and keep all of your process up to date with the latest package version. Jobs. On an UiPath robot, a job represents the execution of procedure. It can start the execution of job in either attended or unattended mode. Queues. A queue is a storage container that can accommodate an infinite number of objects. Multiple types of data, such as invoice, information, or customer data, are stored in queue objects. Other systems such as SAP or Salesforce are used to process this data. Assets. Assets are usually shared variables or credentials that can be used through several automation projects. They allow you to store unique information that the robots can easily access. How to connect a robot to the orchestrator? Step 1. Open UiPath Assistant. Step 2. Sign in the UiPath Orchestrator. Step 3. Create a tenant. Step 4. Connect the robot to the orchestrator. And Step 5. Check the status. It shows connected and licensed. So let's see a demo of how to do this. So let's jump into the UiPath Studio. Step 1. Open UiPath Assistant. So we'll open UiPath Assistant. After opening UiPath Assistant, log into the UiPath Orchestrator. So go to the browser. Go to the browser and type platform.uipath.com. This will take to the UiPath website. So sign in. If you're new to this, if you don't have the account, then you can enter all the details and log in. Since I have already created an account, I'll sign in. After logging in the UiPath Orchestrator, go to the admin. Here you can create a new tenant. You can add a tenant here and create a new tenant. Since I have already created a tenant named admin. So after creating a tenant, connect the robot to the orchestrator. Go to the UiPath Assistant. Go to Preferences. Go to Preferences. Go to Orchestrator Settings. Here you can see the status. It is offline. Click on the Sign In button. Once you click on the Sign In button, allow this, open UiPath. Here you can see it is connecting, and you can see it is connected and licensed. So the UiPath robot is now connected with the orchestrator. What is a tenant context and folder context? In tenant context, to view and control tenant level entities in the orchestrator, pick tenant from the sidebar menu. With only one instance of the orchestrator, multi-tenancy allows isolating data. For the folder context, from the sidebar menu, pick any available folder to view and control the entities within the data folder. So I'll show you. Let's go to the orchestrator. So let's go to the orchestrator. Here you can see this is the tenant context. To view and control the tenant level entities in the orchestrator, you can pick the tenant from the sidebar menu. From the sidebar menu, pick any available folder. So these are the folders. Pick any available folder to view and control the entities within that folder. So this is with respect to the folder context. What is an RE framework? The Robotic Enterprise Framework is a state machine-based project template. It allows to handle even the most complex business situations. It's designed to incorporate all of the industry's best practices for logging, exception management, application initialization, and other areas. What are the features of RE framework? Settings. During the initialization phase of several processes, some configuration settings and configuration values are frequently read, like URLs to a web application, orchestrator queue names, and default logging messages. Logging. The built-in logging mechanism is another helpful feature of the framework. The majority of the system's workflows use log message activities to output information about what is happening at each execution stage. Business exception. If the issue is with the data or any underlying business requirement, the system skips the transaction and moves on to the next. Such exceptions are known as business exceptions. Application exception. If the issue can be resolved by restarting applications, the framework will do so automatically and attempt to process the transaction again. Such exceptions are known as application exceptions. How to merge two Excel files into a single Excel file. First, we need to create a sequence. After creating a sequence, we need a few activities like read CSV activity, assign activity, data table activity, and write CS file activity. So we'll drag and drop all these activities and do the process. Then we'll run the sequence and see the output. So let's jump into the UiPath Studio and start with the workflow. So we are in the UiPath Studio. I have already created a sequence. You can go to new and create a sequence or press Ctrl N. So after starting a sequence, first we'll drag and drop read CSV activity. Since we are using two Excel files, so we need two read CSV activity. We'll drag and drop another read CSV activity. So we'll select the location of the first Excel file. Select the first Excel file. I'll show you both the Excel files which we are merging. So this is the first Excel file. So it has 5 rows, 5 names. So this is the first Excel file, and this is the second Excel files. This Excel file has 5 different names and the other Excel file has 5 different rows. So these are the two Excel files. We'll merge both these Excel files into a single new Excel file. So we'll close these Excel files. So in the first read CSV activity, we have copied the location of the first Excel file. In the output 2, we will select this and create a variable. Right click and create a variable, and let's say name the variable as SL_file1. So we have named the variable. Okay, now we'll go to another read CSV file and select the location of the second file. So I have downloaded this sample Excel files from the internet just for the demo. Right click and create a variable. Let's say name this variable as SL_file2. So now that we have dragged and dropped two read CSV activities, now next we need assign activity. So drag and drop and assign activity. So assign activity has two parameters, as you can see, to and enter a VB expression. In the to parameter, in this, right click and create a variable and name the variable. Let's say merged SL. Now after naming the variable, enter an expression here. So enter the expression as SL_file1, which is the variable for file 1. Select this and enter the expression .clone. What this clone function does is, the clone function creates a new data table with the same structure but does not copy the data. So we are creating a new Excel file, that is the third file, in which we are merging the data tables of both the Excel file. So the third Excel file which we are creating will have the same structure as the file 1. So this clone function creates a third Excel file with the same structure as the file 1. So it's showing an error. So select this assign. Let's go to variables. Here you can see variable type string. change it to system.data.data table. And here you go, the error is gone. Okay, so now we have dragged and dropped assign activity. The next activity which we need is merge data table activity. Let's search for merge data table activity, drag and drop merge data table activity. We need two merge data table activities since we have two Excel files. Select the first merge data table activity, go to the destination and enter the destination, which is the variable which we created in the assign activity, the merged SM. So enter this and enter the source file, that is the variable which we created in file 1, that is sl_file1. Similarly go to merge data table and enter the same destination, but here the source will be the second file. Okay, now that we have dragged and dropped two merge data tables, the next activity we need is write CSV file. So we'll search for write CSV file. After dragging and dropping write CSV activity, go to file path and create a file. Create a file, say we'll name it as file 3. Save the file. Now that we have created the file, we'll write from the data table, that is we need to copy the merge data table. So we'll enter. Now that we have finished the program, the file is created. Let's save and run it. Process execution has started and ended. So let's go to the file. So this is the file which we created. Let's open this file, and here you can see both the Excel files have been merged into a single Excel file. Let's go to the next question. How to send a file over a mail? So first create a sequence and create a file. After you have created a file, drag and drop get password activity. Then drag and drop a SMTP mail message activity. So basically these two activities are used to send a file over a mail. Then run the sequence. So we'll jump into the UiPath Studio and see. So this was the previous question which we answered, how to merge two Excel files. So the same file we will send it over a mail. So we need a get password activity. So we'll drag and drop a get password activity. So if you go to the properties section, enter the password. To whichever mail you are sending this file, enter the password of that mail ID. After entering the password in the result, go and create a variable. So that password is stored in that variable. So name the variable, say anything, any random. So I have named the variable. After this, you need a SMTP mail message activity. So drag and drop send SMTP mail message. In SMTP mail message, under the properties pane, under the host, enter the port value or the port number, which is 587. Sorry. After entering the port number, go to the server and enter it as smtp.gmail.com. Okay, now after entering the email ID, go to your email and enter your email ID to which you want to send this file. Don't forget to use double quotes, otherwise it will show an error. Enter the password. So we had stored the password in a variable, say SSS. So we'll write that. So after that, enter the email ID here under the to option. And enter the subject, say it as demo. Since we are showing a demo, we'll enter the subject as demo. This subject and body is the subject and body of the mail. Now let's attach the file which we have created. Copy the file location. So we'll go to the file and copy this file location. After attaching the file, let's save and run. The process has started and the process has ended. Here you can see in the output, the process has started and the process has ended. Let's go over the mail and check if we have received. Here we go, we have received the file. Let's open the file, and here you go. This is the same file which had merged the data. So the file is being sent over the mail. One thing you have to keep in mind, when you use the get password activity, go to your Google account. In the security section, go to less secure app access and turn it on. You have to turn it on to receive the file over a mail. Explain the different states and transitions in RE framework. There are 4 key states in RE framework. The first state is initial state. This is the point at which the procedure begins. It's an event where the process initializes the settings and runs application tests to ensure that all of the prerequisites for the process start are met. Next, we have get transaction state. This state retrieves the next transaction object. This can be a queue item or a collection item. Transaction items are queue items by default, but this can be modified to meet your needs. This is also when the developer can set the condition to exit the state when there are no items to process. Process transaction state. For the transaction item obtained in previous step, it performs actions logic in various applications. If a transaction item has been processed, the process moves on to the next transaction item available. End process state. The procedure is completed and the applications opened during automations are closed in the end process state. Let's jump into the UiPath Studio and see the different transitions in Robotic Enterprise Framework. So this is the Robotic Enterprise Framework. This is the initialization state, the first state. So it has 2 transitions: system error, that is system exception, and successful. When it shows system exception, when a system error is not nothing, it gets transitioned to the end process. Suppose if you have an application exception during the initialization phase and we don't have enough details to start a process, then as a result we are going to end process state to wrap it up. And the successful is when a system error is nothing, it gets transitioned to get transaction state. If during initialization we have no error, then it goes to the get transaction data. The get transaction data has 2 transitions: no data and new transaction. No data is when if the transaction item is nothing, then we are at the end of our data collection, so it goes to the end process. And in new transaction, if the transaction item contains data, then it processes it. The process transaction data has three transitions: success, business exception, and system exception. Success is when if the condition is business rule exception is nothing and system error is nothing, then the transition to get transaction data. If there is a business rule exception, it is logged and we move on to the next transaction. And rule exception is if the business rule exception is not nothing, then it gets transaction to the get transaction data. And the end process does not have any transition since the end process is the final state, so there are no transitions. What is a GSuite activity? The UiPath GSuite activity package helps in the automation of Google Workspace applications such as Google Calendar, Google Drive, Google Sheets, Gmail, Google Docs. You can create and modify Google Calendar events, manage Google Drive files, read and send Gmail messages, and create new Google Sheets, spreadsheets, and Google documents with the Google GSuite activity package. What are selectors and wildcards in UiPath? Wildcards are the symbols that enable you to replace zero or multiple characters in a string. This can be quite useful when dealing with dynamically changing attributes in a selector. Selectors. UiPath Studio uses what we call selectors. These store the attributes of graphical user interface element and its parents in the shape of an XML fragment. The selector aids in the automatic generation of the selection by utilizing wildcards. What is a machine? Explain standard machine and machine template. The machine page allows you to provision and manages machines to use them to register robots with the orchestrator. It displays the types of machine that we currently in use. It enables you to design your machine whether standard or template. Standard machine. It should be used when the name of the machine on which you want to define robots is the same every time you connect to it. You define the machine once and then you can connect to as many robots as you want from the robots page. Machine template. It should be used whenever the name of the machine on which you want to define robot changes. You represent this entity once and then you use a unique active directory username to connect to any number of attended floating robots. Explain delay, do, if, and switch activities in UiPath. The delay activity allows you to pause the automation for a specified amount of time. This activity is beneficial in projects that require precise timing, such as waiting for a specific application to start or for some information to be processed before using it in the another activity. The do activity allows you to run a specific piece of automation while a condition is met. The project exits the loop when the specified condition is no longer completed. This activity can be used to iterate through all the array elements or execute a specific action multiple times. If activity. The if activity includes a statement as well as two conditions. If the statement is true, the first condition is executed. If the statement is false, the second condition is executed. If activities can be used to make decisions based on variable values. Switch activity. The switch activity allows you to choose one of the several options based on the value of specified expression. The switch activity uses an integer argument by default, but you can change it in the properties panel under the type argument list. The switch activity can be used to categorize data based on predefined number of cases. How to create chart in Excel. Step 1. Create a new sequence. Go to the UiPath Studio and create a new sequence and then drag and drop the following activities. To create a chart, we need to use Excel application scope, create table activity, and bar chart and pie chart activity depending on which type of charts you want to create. Then at last, after completing, then run the sequence. We will see a demo of this in the UiPath Studio. How to upload a file on Drive. So create a new sequence and drag and drop a G Suite application. Then inside G Suite application, drag and drop upload file activity, fill in the details, and finally run the suite. Let's go and see a demo to how to create charts in Excel file and how to upload a file on the drive. So let's jump into the UiPath Studio. This is the Excel file which I have created. It has all the number of cases in these 5 states in the year 2021, in the month of Jan, Feb, March and April. All this record I have taken it from a website called prsindia.org. So I have 2 sheets, sheet 1 and sheet 2. So let's jump into the UiPath Studio. To start off with the demo, we need to have the 3 packages installed. One is the UiPath Excel Activities package. The other one is UiPath gsuite.activities. This package is used for drive, to upload on the drive. Then the other package is Balareva Excel Activities. This package is used for bar graph and pie chart. So after installing these 3 packages, we'll get started. So let's create a new sequence. Name it as sequence 2. So first we'll drag and drop an Excel application scope. So Excel application scope, what it does is it opens an Excel workbook and sets the scope for Excel activities. When this activity is completed, the specified workbook and the Excel application are closed. When the workbook application variable is specified in the output, workbook activities field, the spreadsheet is not closed. After this, drag and drop a create table activity. So by default we have sheet 1 and enter the range. So the range is in this Excel sheet, the range is from A1 to F5. So enter the range. For this, we need to enter the file path. So we'll select the file. So we have selected the file. We have entered the table name, say number of cases. So once this much is done, next we'll drag and drop a bar chart. Drop it outside the Excel application scope and select the file path. So select the file. So select the file, select this cell range, that is the same range what we had entered earlier, A1 to F5. So once that is done, give the chart title, say cases, and you can select the chart type, bar stack, 3D clustered, 3D stacked, whatever is required. For now we'll select bar clustered. We have many other options to explore. Data label type, we'll keep it in show value so that it shows the value, and select show value. If you want show percentage, then select percentage. We'll select show legend, and size. You can vary the size accordingly, how much ever you want. So I'll keep the size as 350 to 350. You can change the width. So the bar chart is done, and you can enter the sheet. Which sheet are you using? So it's sheet 1. Now we'll drag and drop pie chart. Select the file. Similarly, enter the options here. enter the cell range, the same range, A1 is to F5. Show percent will show value, show legend, select show value, and select the sheet which you want. We'll select the sheet 2. So done. So we have completed till here. Next we need to upload this on the Google Drive. So we'll select this option, upload file, select the file, so we have selected the file. So select the destination folder. For that, go to your Google Drive account. So we'll go there. So in my drive I have created a folder called Excel Automation. So I'll copy this URL till here, not the entire. Copy this and go to your UiPath Studio and paste it in the destination folder with the double quotes. Then create a variable and create a variable as file. Oops, there is an error. Oh, we have forgotten to use a G Suite application. This can be only used inside a G Suite application. So drag and drop a G Suite application, and inside G Suite application we'll write this. So the error is gone. So we'll run the file now. We'll save it and we'll run. You can see the file is getting run. So the execution is ended. We will navigate to the drive. So here you can see the file is successfully uploaded. We'll open the file. It's working on the graph. Here you go. Here you can see the bar graph for the sheet 1 with the values, number of values, and each state wise. And for sheet 2 we created a pie chart. So here you go. Here you can see the pie chart.